What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So a couple weeks ago, me and Andrew got started on the build out inside of the Hummer. We're converting it into kind of a mini RV. We're gonna have some cool living spaces inside of there. We even have a fridge. We have a cool pull-out table. We've totally stripped the rear of the interior out so we can build this out. And funny story, I went to begin editing the video today just to see how much footage we already had, and the footage is gone. The computer deleted it all. I've actually, in all of my years of working on the computer professionally, I've never deleted files that I considered important and was unable to recover them, but they're gone. I'm sorry about that. So what we're going to do today, we're just going to hop inside the Hummer. We're going to take a look at all the things that we've done up to this point. It's come along really well, and I hope in the next couple weeks to have it totally finished and out exploring someplace cool. And I look forward to sharing the process with you guys as we go along. But anyway, let's jump in there and take a look at what we've done so far. So as I'm going over all of this, just keep in mind that all of this is roughed up right now. Definitely not even close to the finished project. In my mind, when everything is done, it's going to be very reminiscent of like an RV or super nice interior conversions. So all of the stuff that's really rough right now, it's going to be painted and finished and sanded, and it's going to look super sharp. But right off the bat, we'll check out this fridge. Now, I was always apprehensive about putting a fridge in any of my vehicles. I always thought it was kind of a big waste of money because they're so expensive for a nice fridge. But I started Googling around and I found that there's actually several different brands that are incredibly cheap. Most of them are probably coming from the same place, but they have awesome reviews. And so I decided to give it a shot. And this one's really nice. We have quite a bit of room inside of here. You can see there's a couple water bottles. This area right here is a freezer, and that's actually the fridge part. It just has a spillover, and it has a little app. I can connect my phone to it and check it. And last night I actually ran this thing all night long, and it has protection in case the battery voltage gets too low. It'll just cut itself off automatically, and it never cut off. It kept just those couple bottles of water cold for the entire evening. And from what I understand, if you keep the freezer full or the fridge full, it's going to be more efficient. It's not going to take as much energy to cool it off. So I think when I finally decide to get on the road, we'll kind of load the bottom of that thing full of just cold packs and things like that, because there's probably no reason for this thing to ever be full. I'm just going to keep really simple things like eggs, butter, stuff that I really want to have on me, but I don't necessarily want to keep a cooler full of ice all of the time, especially if I plan to be out in the middle of nowhere for 7 or 8 days at a time without any stops at a convenience store or anything like that. This will save me from having to actually swap out ice all the time and deal with that mess. Now looking at the main sleeping area, this main area of the back of the Hummer, like I said, I had some really awesome clips of us getting all of this frame that's underneath here welded, removing all of these interior panels, tucking all of these wire harnesses. I actually did a lot of work back here getting all of these wire harnesses and things tucked to make it nice and smooth so we can just build a flat panel that runs along this rear hatch. It's also going to let me build a little hinge to where I can open and close this from the inside of the Hummer. That's one of the things you actually can't do from the factory. There's no way to open the inside hatch from the inside of the vehicle. Yeah, so back here, the tentative plan is this is just a fender cover. You can see the fender well right there. So that's just a little fender cover, and we're going to have a piece right here that comes all the way across with maybe a drawer that slides out and some cabinets up top. And then over here, we actually have all of this built already. We just removed it for the day. This is going to have a little sink, and we'll have some drawers and things above it, but this is going to be a little tiny hand wash sink area. And that's because one of the other things we've done since the last video is up top, we have installed a Yakima road shower. So we'll climb up here real quick and take a look. We also have this Pelican Vault storage box. This is going to work out really well. It's going to let us store all of our kind of recovery equipment and a toolbox, extra fuses, extra wire, things that we hope that we never are going to need, but just in case, we're going to be able to store it. I'm kind of planning on maybe doing a second one that runs along this area up here. Obviously, it can't run too far because I want to be able to open and close our hatch. But here is our Yakima road shower. This is really awesome. This is a 10-gallon water tank that you can also pressurize. So what I'm mainly going to be using that for is just taking light showers, running some water down into the hand sink, and I'm mainly going to just use that hand sink for literally just washing my hands, putting my contacts in. One of the things I find that I have a really hard time with before we did all of this was just putting my contacts in the morning, getting my hands clean, trying to look in a little mirror to get it in, like looking in the rearview mirror, and there's always a chance of a contact like falling into the floorboard. Plus, I'll have some fresh water that's going to be used for drinking and cooking when I'm inside of the actual truck. And once I'm out on the road and I'm actually putting this road shower to the test, I will make a short video reviewing it, showing you my setup and the things that we're going to do to it. Normally, you just tap into one of the fittings on either side of the tank. You attach a garden hose attachment and you just run that down and use it. You know, garden hoses have a huge tendency to leak and just not hold pressure very well at all. Even with Teflon tape and thread sealer, a lot of the time they still leak. So one of the things we're going to do is go to a place called Deco. It's a really good hose manufacturer and hose building store here in town. They actually helped me a couple years ago when the Lotus, the two front oil coolers, they were leaking. I couldn't find a hose that would work, and so they just built me a new one. So I'm going to see if they can just make me a little NPT water hose, and on one end is going to be an NPT fitting that goes into the road shower. The other end will just be a traditional water hose fitting that I can run like a spray nozzle or things like that. But before we can get started on the sink, there's a few other things we still have to do, and I want to show you guys what we've been doing up to this point. We're getting both sides of the truck kind of figured out and put together. Like I said, we're gonna have a drawer on one side and the other side of where we're gonna have the sink at. And over here is a few panels that we built before I started this video. Like I said, some of that footage got deleted. This rear panel is going to cover up the rear hatch where all those holes and wires go. This is actually just one part of it. This is where our entire assembly for the hatch with the mechanism to open and close and lock and unlock is at. And we're going to have a face over this. And right here, we'll have a little slot, and that's going to let us put a pull cord right there to let us pull to open and close the hatch. Down here, this is the driver's side. This is where the sink is going to be. So you see we have a cutout already for the sink, getting pressed by a buddy of ours to turn it into a sink. So he has a press that he's custom made to put a little drain on it. So that's where that's at right now. And you can see it's inset because we're going to have a stainless steel basin that covers across and then goes up. That's also will let us cut a template so we can have a piece of wood that slides over and sets into place when the sink is not in use. And then over here is our passenger side drawer that we've been working on today. So we'll real quickly jump into some beauty clips of us getting this one built. So that's coming along really, really well. I'm super happy with that. It's not quite as much storage as I really wanted back there, but we are going to have two little storage cubby containers up front, right behind the driver and the passenger seat. So I think between this drawer, those two trapdoor cubby holes, and the little bit of other storage we're going to have inside the truck, I think we're going to have plenty for clothes, sleeping things, food, stuff that really needs to stay inside of the truck. Up top, I have all of my tools, recovery equipment, jack, wire, fuses, stuff that you hope you're never going to need. So I think we're gonna have more storage than I really need. I know I'm overkilling it a little bit, and where am I gonna be that I'm not going to be within an hour or two of like a Walmart or something? So, but I'm just going all in. I know I'm overkilling it a little bit, but it's coming along really, really well so far.